Well, good afternoon as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful afternoon of Tuesday, November 21st, year 2023, as we are literally approaching Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays where I can um, I greet myself with generosity and find multiple openings to comfortably revise and reflect over all the wonderful things that we're surrounded by. So this is the Hello Hello show, and we're continuing with the tradition of that wonderful show that's been on the air since 1980, and of course and and then celebrating public access in itself is a task and an entity important and crucial. So we're very spoiled because we got here in the United States of America. We're very spoiled because we got the uh, the concept of public access at our disposal, available, and just a given in our lives, which is something that most countries in the world cannot even begin to think about this possibility to be real and available. And of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Doherty, the likes of which, of course, with the other groups of people that helped this concept and this vision to come to life. But Fraser Doherty, an entity exceptional by all means, by all standards, actually lived to be 101 years old and passed away about 2 months ago. So the the so of course not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Doherty, a wonderful person, a capable individual. His vision, implementing this vision, wasn't easy at all, but prevailed at every step he took, despite all the difficulties and the obstacles. And of course, Francis Anne, his wife, with her generosity when it comes to the maintaining the that level of generosity, obviously helped the concept to thrive and to survive the way it did. And of course, we have a wonderful station here at LTV in Wainscott, New York. And any which way you look at it, it spells nothing but goodness and nothing but that which is miraculously and magically available to us people: a stage, a microphone, a studio, an idea, interaction, conversation, acting, playing music, doing art. For the last 26 years, we've been showing art here on a monthly basis. I've been curating this show since the early days of Sabina Hindra, a wonderful individual that actually initiated the art shows, the art exhibitions here in the late 90s and early 2000. So for me. It wasn't only a task; it was just a pleasure and a half to be able to kind of smoothly have that uh, transferring of initiation from and learning from an individual such as Sabina Hindra, and to become what it is today, which isn't really that different from the early concept when Sabina put it together. It's all about hard work, enthusiasm, excitement, patience, being generous, of course, with yourself and with others, and just trying to. For me, it was more like it is still. It's just try not to take this whole idea of showing, exhibiting art more special than it already is, or more unique and important than it already is. Um, the more I talk about this with people, the more I realize that actually, as much as I think it's simple, it's really very difficult. It's almost like saying, "Yeah, well, I can quit smoking." I'm not a smoker, but to say, "Oh, yeah, I can quit smoking anytime I want," but I don't really want, and I don't. I haven't seen a smoker really that would have quit smoking if he knew that. it wasn't dangerous or something, you know. So the trick is to really to be able to almost, I dare say, going through the uh, all the all the cliche aspects of being involved in a situation where you were kind of addicted to a certain concept, to a certain habit, and if that habit is dangerous and can hurt you, then it's another layer to to bring into the equation and to have a part of the consideration. But taking that process seriously was more like, I mean, in general, I say as an artist, if I stand in front of the canvas, my main concern is how not to give myself a hard time. My main task is how not to give myself too much of a hard time, unnecessary hard time. When I get to watch myself, it's really more learning than anything, and it's really when I watch myself, I say, "What am I going to learn now? What, what am I going to learn about or from this person right there that happens to be me?" Uh, so yeah, I mean, I can go through that phase of kind of mocking myself and putting myself in the spot and be criticizing myself, but in the same token, also just not doing all of the above, not doing all of the above, not doing all of the above. Period. Um, so I yes. So I as an artist standing in front of the canvas, you really want things to go smoothly. You want situations to be charged with meaning and meaningfulness, but without this kind of feeling of I don't know if I should use the word morbidness or cloudiness or moodiness or which, which really in more ways than one can can be great things to have in your life, so to speak, if it serves the purpose. Um, by a meticulous way, by a pinpointed way in the artistic journey that you're a part of. That would be great. That is great. But for the most part, we don't just wake up every day and end up with a task and end up with a good idea and end up with a good way to adapt it and to implement it. It happens, but it's very rare. It won't happen. It cannot happen every week. It cannot happen every month. It cannot happen that often. But in the same token, it happens every day, but you don't end up using it to display to the world, to the public, to people. Uh, most of it as an artist, you will keep close to you, and you will keep close to you because sometimes it's great to have like an indirect narcissistic desires slash feelings that can be tolerated, but at the same token, because there's an undercurrent understanding that it will have a say and a voice and all that, as long as it's kept within the borders of having fun, of pleasure, of you know satisfaction, decent appreciation of things that you can understand very well and relate to very well. And you really don't have to be like to have a degree in anything in order to be what desire to expose yourself, um, and eventually ending up being able to. The magic combination of saying being able to, uh, due to uh, that willingness to cope with a desire and that quickly enough it becomes a almighty vehicle, and strong and fast and durable and secured and reliable. And so the technical journey picks up a meaning that becomes parallel to that journey, which is technical by nature, but in the same token, the philosophical aspect of it is there, the psychological aspect of it is there, the mathematical aspect of it is there, the spiritual aspect of it is there, the physical aspect of it is there, the religious aspect of it is there, the social aspect of it is there. Um, so it will so automatically that makes it, that qualifies it as that which can be compatible with any and every scenario, and also in addition to that, every gesture, uh, be be it the most uh, uncommon or incredible level of rarity. Uh, um, um, Almost like caramelizing the end result that we happen to be very concerned about, or about its safety, and about its what kind of protection we can give it. How can we build or create the environment for it, especially, and how we can go about understanding, first of all, being able to understand and to decipher a situation where you don't necessarily know much about. But it's, it's just like the humming on the journey to singing. For someone who cannot sing, for someone who doesn't have really a voice, a singing voice, uh, you can always you can approach it with any kind of humming, because it's like almost like something that you cannot fail with if you hum. Um, and take the relationship with the humming in motion, because you're carrying it with you, actualizing, approaching the whatever medium that might be. You're in the middle of writing a poem, in the middle of playing your musical instrument, in the middle of painting your painting. So it's irrelevant really what the medium is and which medium do you want to implement and to use. Uh, it's almost like something that's compatible with the fact that in the subconscious there's no sense of time. I love this concept. There's no concept. I mean, there's no sense of time. So something major, psychological, emotional, and much more took place this morning, and you were like supposed to be completely overwhelmed, and um, that you find yourself uh, instantly on the helm, whereas 10 minutes before that you were a struggling inventor, you know, in a zone where there's almost zero tolerance. Time is everything. So when you ask for a minute or give me just a few more minutes, it's It's a big deal. It's a big thing to ask. While we would think that this time is almost irrelevant, it comes and goes hundreds of times a day. So when you do get the early stages of whatever it is that you made clear that you need, you find yourself already in at the helm and functioning and operating in a way that is thoughtful, responsible, and non-wavering, and incredible sense of justice. So you need to just be completely approaching it and accepting it while your system is completely empty, because it has so much to offer. So once you kind of blend with it, it will just fill you up, fill you in, fill you whatever follows, fill you to the utmost, uh, without any doubt. And then you learn slowly but surely that you're very compatible with things that are actually very pleasurable and nice and rewarding and so much more. But in the same token, it's boring and foreign, and it's not yours. And you don't necessarily want to kind of take it steps forward when you know that it's not going to be able to be a part of completing an entire cycle, which as in a day one should be able to complete between 2 and 4 cycles, and if you're really rigid, you can get up to 7 cycles. So I don't know if I should call it mini cycles. Maybe sometimes you should call it mini cycles, but cycles are cycles are cycles are cycles, and mini is mini is mini is mini, as many mini, and reaching out to the possibility and therefore the probability of finding yourself. Oh my God, I'm actually heading towards that direction. That direction, that destination. Once you're en route, and mind you, the travel is the travel is. Let me see what's going on. Oh, okay. I am going to have to do this. I'm just gonna have to make this phone call. Believe it or not. Thanks for your patience. Believe it or not, I gotta make phone calls while I'm on the air, so that's kind of very intriguing. Sometimes it's very. So, also, in addition to the discovery of the fact that you instantly find yourself at the helm, and that's something that you were kind of looking forward and expecting to go, slowly but surely approaching it, and and somehow knowing that you're going to prevail, but it's all kind of stage like, step follow step follow step. But never thought that you're just going to initiate and boom, you find yourself there. You're actually responsible for this vehicle, this vessel to just travel. From is irrelevant, during is irrelevant, future is irrelevant, but also it's because there is a sense of understanding and fully feeling the moment itself, and appreciating and respecting the durability of it and the width of it, and how it can really expand itself and allow itself to freeze and allow you more time than its own uh, uh, DNA value, even if you go by number only. But these kind of indulging in celebration, so to speak, if I can use these words, uh, are short-lived. No, I'm just, it's not a bad, not in a bad way. It's just short-lived. So you make it work to your benefit, understanding that, but also you are becoming stronger when it comes to putting a strategy in place. And it doesn't matter, you're in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. At any stage, in every stage, you'll find yourself saying, "Oh, I can't believe 10 years went by and I'm like 31. Oh, I can't believe that this time is rushing. I'm 48 and I'm approaching 50. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm like." And I personally know many people that understand the now as a head game in order to freeze the now, in order to make the now available, in order to make the now available. They're going to have to play head games with the options in order to actually catch a moment where you can say, we captured the now. So we don't have to erase the word now from the dictionary. It, it, but, but inventing these kind of concepts and possibilities, you earn a legitimate recognition in the world now. But the beauty is, at the end of the day, that actually you dealing with so many philosophical aspects of philosophy itself. But at the same token, if you are a poet or a painter or a musician, you need you need very unique, specific, pinpointed skills, and you need the same in terms of personality, and the same in terms of talent, and the same in terms of knowing and utilizing technique, and the same so many things. It's just the same. You just transfer the composition, the skeleton of one medium, of the mechanism that is accompanying one medium, and when you kind of snap out of it and find yourself from this color to this color, or this sense to this sense, this smell to this smell. It's just self adaptation, having your own composition that you can implement uh, any which way you would like to, all the way from erratically to self controlled and meticulously guarded and and being refurbished constantly, 24/7, around the clock. Um, and learning whatever it is that you're learning, and even if you think and you're convinced that you're not learning, or it's not good for you, or nothing really happens, these thoughts itself show you that you're wrong, because you're thinking about the fact that you are no good, or you're thinking and feeling the fact that you think like you're a loser, or you're getting nowhere, you're coming from nowhere, you're getting nowhere. That in itself, if you're going to relate to if something is happening, can serve as a thing that is happening on the level and in relationship to the ingredients of that level, um, accordingly. So that regularness, senseness, I don't even else what else to say. Uh, Gravity, but something like a clownish gravity, um, and all serving really the purpose of, well, maybe I'm not going to use the word purpose right now. Let's see how long I can survive. How long can I last without using the word survive? Prevail. Uh, you know, offering enlightenment, and therefore someone out there will be, saying, oh, okay, I think I'm enlightened, And this past weekend, I had a group art show that I put together and curated. It was titled "Open Season." It was a unique gathering of talents and sharing, mostly indirectly, but still, it was so indirect. It was actually direct, meaning that it came together. Even if that briefness was a real briefness, the uh, the puzzle was a viable puzzle that happened to be solved faster than one might think that it's possible. The For example, some phrases that can find themselves flat on the surface of the ongoingness of things and situations and realities that you're, you're, you're very familiar with, and there are always eyes that are open wide enough, uh, that are pretty enough. That beauty is um, an aspect of the help to accelerate the sameness, because you come with a certain willingness, and then you are reaching out for whatever it is that you're going to grab and adapt, adapt, and that adaptation is actually a, almost like a violent union, but that is so brief, but it's so brief. But that's when you realize that it doesn't matter what size uh, um, the this kind of moment of violence can be. Uh, I mean, even if it's snappy and short, it's like, wow, happened, and already you find yourself in the aftermath and mourning or dwelling or finding out that your emotions and feelings are just all over the place. And it's like, also the realization is more like the the revelation of the fact that, oh my god, you're actually durable. You're actually finding yourself in that post-production zone, but with an additional project that you have already completed since the time you found out till the time that you thought you should share it with those whom you usually share, and the aspect of surprise was not there any longer because you finished it so fast. There was no one to impress, unless we switch to post production. Post production will be the dealing and wheeling and wheeling and dealing with the little boy and the little girl and the neighbor and the uh, professional partner and all the aspects of one's life by way of associating with individuals that would happen to be something that um, uh, so public access for you guys out there, if you're like at any age group, and you wonder how whatever, because however however we slice it, once we start thinking, we will end up having uh, great revelations, and um, again, maybe I should use the word great, just revelations, and then attempts to um, honestly adapting the that that which appeals from the decision of, yes, I want to have some of that, and then once you engage in it, people out there will suddenly wake up to a reality that will seem more familiar to them than anybody would have ever anticipated to think, because there was there were moments of recklessness, and there were moments of recklessness that actually kind of uh, once if you were the one if you were the one if you were the one who weren't there during those moments of supposedly engagement, which happened to be very impressive and very civil and very talented and very knowledgeable and very everything. But then at the same token, it's something that is introduces roughness, and 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 if you're not accustomed to it, you can be grinded badly. Not grounded, grinded badly. So, speaking of the head game that one needs to choose, that one needs to choose in order to be able to secure a zone, a stage where one can perform. One can take the stage and make it a studio. One can take the stage and step on it as a subfloor to where the music is always playing, and the words are always afloat, and you really have to be convinced that indeed they float, and you don't write, you don't hum, you don't nothing. You just grab it and put it in place, and then maybe one of the great artists will sign it, and then you're also safe for life. The bank will loan you money, and the deli will give you credit, and any company will give you credit, and you will just like um and why is that? That's because you have a piece of artwork that values $50 million. Not that $50 million is so much money, but it's enough for someone to be moderately, consistently happy. I would think so. I would think so. Oh yeah, without any doubt. And so finding the movement inside that movement is really written in disguise, and that disguise is a movement uh, in disguise. Disguise that is part of the it in as it is in motion in disguise. It reaches the painful sense of sobriety. Uh, I I think when I was growing up, I was actually pretty lucky that I didn't find myself uh, that I didn't. Let me just check one thing here. 1 second. Yeah, 40. Okay, that's good. Well, I wish I could just sit here and say we live in a world where ABC 1 to 3, and as artists, we can choose to clarify our reservations with the world, our artistic reservations, or our reservations about artistic issues, our conviction level of conviction um, when it comes to understanding the ingredients that carry the most meaning in the given composition. Once I was very worried about. Well, I just got to learn about compositions and just got to learn to accept a certain concepts that are literally magical. It's like performing magic. That that you have ideas, you have reservations, you have desires, you have this, and suddenly you realize that there is another entity, there is a place, there are a group of people that can make it, that are okay with you wanting to do it, that agreeing with you and accepting you, and accepting what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're planning to do, what it is that most probably you will end up doing. So all of that is is something that I adapted to myself. I remember 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, a period of 5 years. And I did uh, about 11 to 13 solo exhibitions. Um, so, six, yeah, 10 to 15 exhibitions that come from a source that is famous. The concept, the source famous, and uh, and you realize that a lot of the individuals from the past 100 years, when they sat to figure things out, when it comes to the relationship between you and the moment, and you and the moment, and the person that in front of you, and you realize that a lot of things are doable. To make you sit in that chair or stand up and 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 circle around, and some watchful, intelligent, professional eyes are watching you closely, and they will never approach you and say, "We know what you need. We know what your problems. We know." You will hear nothing. You will just feel action, whatever it is, whatever clothing, whatever symbol or concept that it represents. And sometimes I found myself correcting the diva of all divas, and she said, "Brilliant. But don't worry, it was already factored into the equation of the way our world is being perceived and going out as such, as it's um, an incredible way of the out of the many choices to bond and to blend and interact and mix and match. So I wanted to still nevertheless pursue the process of humming in relationship to singing, in and again inside. No way. No, I was just thinking about something that just came in now. Wow, that's amazing. So you get reflections and realizations and whatnot. So when I sit with my friends, that specifically, it doesn't matter specifically who they are, but and you know that you're in the company of people that are going through the same things that you're going. Their desires is of the same nature as of your desires, sharing the same really. All the scenarios that will be due to your imagination, and when you have the group of friends that I have, you can realize easily, oh my God, we are so alike, it's not even funny. So that means I don't wait for every occasion to come to life or to come to, and then all of the participants are supposedly saying, okay, we're going to get together and we're going to get the feel of it, and we're going to we'll get to appreciate it. And then we also, by the way, might as well, if you're already there, let's have a little snack or dinner and all this and make it a whole evening. So so I realize more like, okay, I know it's there, I know the potential is there. I don't need to see an example, because I can already see it in the eyes of my mind. um the admission of failure. I, you know what? I don't want to use the word failure. The admission of having a hard time. The admission of um, pursuing um, through some resistance, but still nevertheless pursuing, and many aspects that I can use to the list, and maybe I will. But in the meantime, the concept itself is celebrating all over the place, rightfully so. Because the most complex aspect of this combination, called all the way from kingdom to the to crown, uh, kingdom, kingdom to kingdom, kingdom, crown, kingdom and crown. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So yeah, um, so as weird and as alternative and as even questionable and um, um, so much more. I will stop here. It's still something that will, no matter what, result in some proof that indeed that process took place, when the supposedly that time frame is changing, it's shedding its skin and retrieving in order to grow new skin, something to this effect. And So I personally find myself tiptoeing around the concept when I see that actually there's this gravity that we kind of drawn into, and also because that's the nature of the beast anyway. So even if you want, you don't want, you choose, you don't choose, you're gonna be drawn into it, and sometimes you might even feel that a little too aggressive to your taste. So uh, more aggressive than you have anticipated, uh, more aggressive than you would have choose to encounter, to be a part of. So the joy of having another factor in your life that stabilizes all these potential uh, wreaking havoc scenarios are the wonderful complete understanding how important it is to have something to show for. And at the early stages of my creation as a painter, I always believed that I need to create a full body of work of whatever it is. This is in the times and in the era where I thought that things can be pathetic. Today, I don't believe in it. I don't think you can try as hard as you want. You can never be pathetic. That which we have thought in the past to be pathetic or due to behaving in a pathetic fashion is actually the art itself. It becomes the art itself. If indeed it takes place and you cannot resolve it, supposedly resolve it, even though I don't believe in it anymore, resolving. I'm just like grinding through the process in order to find a way to ease up on the uh, interchanging levels of aggression, and sometimes unknowingly, You'd be amazed how many people are not aware that they were a part of something that they didn't even know it was there. Active emotional, active spiritual, active religious, active social, active, scientific, active, on the ground, hands on, always, always in the, something like that. I always was trying to resolve certain situation with a tap 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 tap. So it's like what was it? It's amazing how you can resolve an issue by doing the pattern and knowing where you are. It can be very simple and otherwise, but it's if you do it right and you feel good about it and you think it's complete, then it really elevates its place in the world. So so it's amazing how so and so resolution, let's say you're in your studio and you did that. It's just kind of you were in front of the canvas and nothing really bad or good happened. It's just like suddenly you felt I don't belong this minute. I don't belong. And it's like quitting to smoke. It's like you don't just say, okay, I don't want, I'm going to throw it right away to the garbage and never do it again. Some people can do it. Everyone can do it. Some people are lucky enough to find themselves in the moment, the right moment, with the right whatever, many combinations. And you are feeling certain feelings and experiencing some certain sensations that are relevant to the moment. That actually, when I say relevant, I mean they are the moment itself. So you take it into the okay. So you do that, and you elevate it, and we'll actually skip that. It's been elevated on its own behalf. Inflation. And the beauty is that you can see it coming, and you can choose to leave. You because you got it. You got it. First glimpse. If indeed you got the glimpse, you got it. You're good to go. Turn and go. And then, and no matter what, at some point you're going to complete that painting. And mind you, this is a painting that you started at the beginning of the session of that particular day. And this is the painting that's going to be accomplished before the day is over. There's a lot to be said about that. Sometimes I keep to myself the factor of how fast I do things or how many I do a day and all this. But sometimes I feel comfortable with some close friends and I say, oh, you won't believe it. I mean, last night before I went to sleep, there's that. And, I just felt like I was suddenly in my studio and 3 hours later I finished a piece that I can show it to you. And you send him an image and he will say like, wait a second, all that. And on and on and on. Most people don't like to hear about artists that find it very easy to create and unintimidating to face a blank canvas. There are many people that would hate your guts for being so compatible with complex things and so much so that you own the moment and that you can really put it aside, i.e., putting it in hold, and you wanna just wait to the right moment. You are a part of what it stands for. And uh, and you're ready and willing to give the world not out of the reservoir what you have already gained, but give the world new things right after you create them, and right after you create them in front of the crowd that will say, oh my god, and then write a check with 5 zeros and buy the painting from you. So there's nothing in in that moment that at first sounds and feels very threatening uh, uh, and solid and strong and resolved and balanced and whatnot. So many words, so many descriptions. Um, Gives you the sense of not only that you're welcome, but this is where you belong. And suddenly, all the ingredients around you feel like they need to ask for permission. It will turn out to be permission to stay with you, to be next to you, but for the longest time it will be more like, okay, I need my own space. Whatever it is that I pay you for a space of my own to do my own. But usually that's not the case. When you sit with the master, when you sit with the master, you don't try and bypass the moment of honest. You don't try to skip the encounter with that wonderful ingredient, wonderful point where you are just everything is concentrated there, and you want to just be there and inhale, exhale, and own it instantly. This is the beauty of it. You realize more and more that there's no cooling off period. There's just like you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it, you're getting appreciation, getting returns instantly. So you and I, we know we need that now, maybe more often than not. Um, so the conclusion would be in the fact that you'll find yourself saying, "Okay, I love you, but I'm so tired. I gotta. Okay, it's all yours. Go check it out." And and you're out, and you're like, "Whatever. There's only There's only that much you can do. You're tired. You want to go to sleep. So it's like you're crazy or whatever it is. You want to paint. It's the same. You can't not do that in that moment because it doesn't have to be the canvas. Doesn't. If you have no access to that canvas, it's like me not having access to this mic in this podcast room. But still, nevertheless, the feeling of I was here, I'm here, I will be here, is there, vivid, solid. That in itself already like a winning combination. You cannot, you cannot do too much wrong here, because there's too many right things here. So there's no room for wrong. I mean, there's room for wrong, but the dominant aspect is already the right, because this is the way it is. This is what's happening, and everything that's happening there, that happened there in front of you, and it now is in front of you by way of result, speaks the language that anyone can understand. When you prevail, when you succeed, when you show that you break through, and then you can show also the pieces that you created, and the pieces are indeed telling you of the journey and of the fact that the journey existed and exists, and so much more. At the end of the day, you will have something to show for, and you had that in mind throughout, just as much as you forgot all about it until you didn't forget anymore. You didn't forget any longer until and unless this wonderful pile of achievement is there, fermenting all the time. Public access here, LTV, public access in Wainscott, New York, can provide the space for you. It's something you should consider. And even if not, just kind of indulge yourself into the concept of the fact that in the backyard of your neighborhood, there's an entity that's called public access. And in this point, I will take advantage of it and tell you that we're going to be here tomorrow, as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, November 21st, year 2023. Wanted to wish, and this is of course, the Hello Hello Show, and my name is Haim Mizrahi. Wanted to wish all of you happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it, family, friends. Awesome, 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 awesome. So from LTV, happy Thanksgiving. From me, happy Thanksgiving. And don't forget, LTV is the place for music. It's the place for podcasts and for shows. It's a place for art exhibitions. It's the place for theater. It's a place for, you name it. So be safe, enjoy your time, be kind, and we'll see you tomorrow. Of course. Thank you.